Our power bills cheaper or not? Let's ask the most powerful man in the country.
Here to talk us through the plan is the architect himself. Would you please welcome Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull?
Thank you.
Great to have you here.
Yes.
Certainly has been a big day. Did you choke on your popcorn as you watched that press conference happen today?
Well, that's the first time I've seen it, actually. I've been up in the snowy mountains today announcing this great new project, which is, as you said, going to add 2,000 megawatts of power. It's going to make renewables reliable. It's the storage that we need in the 21st century to stabilise our grid and make power more secure and more affordable, and we'll do both.
If that's the first time you've seen it, what's your impressions of what you saw?
Well, it's interesting, you know, make a couple of points about South Australia. The first one is the one that Josh made, which is that Jay Weatherill did introduce a huge amount of wind into the state and made no provision for backup or storage, and that was the mistake that he made. Secondly, far from not helping South Australia, the first pumped hydro project that we provided funding for is actually in South Australia. It's not nearly as big as the Snowy project, but it's at a place called Kaltana on the Spencer Gulf, and it would provide, built at full scale, 200 megawatts of power for about 8 hours, which would be very critical in the context of South Australia. The third thing is, and this is where you see Jay's anger is a little bit theatrical, when he announced his measures, which basically involves buying a new gas-fired power station on Tuesday, he rang me up and walked me through it. So we had a perfectly civilised conversation. So there it is. But I'm not interested in stunts or riotous press conferences. The big issue is how do we ensure our energy security and affordability in the future, and storage, pumped hydro, which is the biggest, the storage you can do at scale, is critically important. The exciting thing about this project is this is all designed. It's all the engineering drawings are done. It's all designed in the 80s, in the 1980s and early 90s, and then governments owning the company decided not to do anything about it. And when I gave my speech in February and talked about the importance of storage and pumped hydro, the people at Snowy Hydro said, gee, we've got some plans here. And so that's why we can do the feasibility, bring it up to date, you know, in light of modern tunnelling technology and so forth. And once the environmental approvals are given, the company believes they can build it in 4 years. Now that's fast.
Well,
that is really fast.
4 to 7 years was the timeline that you outlined today.
Well, the company has said, I was just with them today, Waleed, I'm not, Paul Broad said he can do it, they can do it in 4 years. They reckon they can build the tunnel in 2.
We're talking, though, about a situation, particularly in places like South Australia, where they're worried about this summer.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of talk about whether or not power is secured for this summer. Jay Weatherill made the point today.
Yeah.
We can't wait 4 to 7 years for something to be built. We need something now, which is why they're going on.
But the measures he's proposing, the gas-fired power station he's talking about, he can't build in 6 months either. So,
but there's also the battery stuff and whatever.
Well, the battery. Look, I'm a big believer in storage, Waleed, and I think, and as far as energy is concerned, we should get rid of all the ideology and the politics. Chuck it out. Let's just focus on economics and engineering. So you've got to deal with all of the above. Every technology has a role to play. Batteries have a role to play, but it's not a huge role at this point. The battery that they're talking about there would deliver 100 megawatts of power for 1 hour, just 1 hour. Now, what we're talking about here in the Snowy, is 2,000 megawatts of power for weeks, and that's the difference. So you're talking about a really big battery, a giant battery, and that's what you need.
Can I get that battery for my iPhone? Because it barely makes the day.
You would. Well, I know you're very chatty, but the battery that we're talking about in the Snowy, it would. I think you would run out of things to say long before the battery ran out.
But I'm just trying to figure out what was actually announced
and
today.
being tethered to the dam and the pipeline might be restrict your social social engagement.
That's just a landline.
You've got to get out more often. Yes, that would be. That would be, yeah.
I'm trying to figure out what was announced today, though, because there was the Snowy thing that we're talking about. But as I understand it, there's a feasibility study that has to happen first. Is that right? So is that really what was announced today, that you're going to look into doing this? No.
It's the feasibility study is really just to check the geology for the tunnel route. See, the plan that was done, all the design has been done. The engineering design has been done, everything, the civil works, all the work, preparatory work's been done. But in the 80s, when the way you built tunnels was with dynamite and jackhammers and so forth, nowadays you dig a hole, you put in a tunnel boring machine. So they've got to check and that's much quicker, so much cheaper too. So they've got to check to make sure that the alignment of the tunnel is right. They might need to move it a little bit, one way or the other. And obviously all of the generation technology, the turbines and so forth, is much more advanced. So this will be a bigger project. It could be quite a lot bigger than 2,000 megawatts, and the chamber, the machine hall where the turbines will be built of a size so that you could double it and go to 4,000 megs in the future. But of course that's going to depend on what the business case is. So,
can I ask, for people at home getting lost in the turbines and all the,
the
intricacies
right.
of what's happening?
More reliable, more affordable power.
The Grattan report, we are being ripped off. When can we expect power bills to come down?
Well, there are two separate issues there about retailers taking too much of a margin, and we're all having a close look at that. I can assure you the ACCC is very aware of that as well. That's particularly the case in Victoria. In terms of the cost of generating power, which is, you see, your power bill is made up of the cost of generating the power, the cost of getting it to you, the poles and wires, and then, of course, the retailer takes their margin. So we're just talking here at the snowy end about the generation, and what we've seen is massive volatility in energy prices, energy spiking right up. That is where storage is so valuable, because what it means is that they can react, they can stabilise the grid, as they did last night. There was one of the coal-fired power stations in New South Wales had an outage, and Snowy Hydro was able to come in to support the grid and stabilise the grid. They can get power, at massive amounts of power, into the grid on 90 seconds notice. That's the power of pumped hydro. That's why we need more of it, and I'm committed to delivering it.
I think our question was, when is it cheaper?
Well, I'm saying this project will obviously have an impact when it is built, but what it will enable you to do is take a lot of the volatility and the big spikes out of the price, because as the price goes up, they can hit the market, deliver the electricity that brings the price down.
Now, Malcolm, I know you're a big fan of using public transport, especially when you're here in Melbourne.
I came out here on the train.
Well, that's it. We've got a little bit of intel, because I believe there's some footage. We've got you in South Yarra Station, just getting out here today.
Yeah.
Now, question, Malcolm.
Yes?
Big dog, be honest with me.
Yes, yes.
Do you pay for your ticket, or do you just go in a couple of cents?
No, it cost me $4.10.
$4.10? Doesn't use concession. Put that on the front page.
Before we let you go, there's a member of our team who's very disappointed he can't be here tonight,
right.
Mr. Pete Hellier. He wants to know, when are Pete and I coming for dinner? You promised us we could come for dinner.
Well, you're very busy, but if you can fit me into your schedule, you let me know.
Oh, okay, great. Well, I'm looking forward to that fish you promised me.
Yeah,
so,
okay,
yep,
done.
okay.
All right, we'll line it up.
Sure. We'll have that on the same day the power bills come down. How about we take it home?
Well, the Snowy Hydro project will take about 4 years to finish, so I reckon we should have dinner before then.
Okay.
But the most important thing is to make sure that the gas is affordable too, and I'm dealing with that as well. Otherwise, that's how we'll cook the fish.
That's how we'll cook the fish. All right, it's been a pleasure. Would you please thank the Prime Minister?